Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Samantha and this is Among Stouts. I am a homeschool mom to 5 kiddos, 4 of them that I homeschool. You might be able to hear my youngest out there. She is with my older kids and my husband giving them her mind. So don't mind if you hear her being a little sassy out there. But today I wanted to share with you guys a book haul. I haven't done one of these in a while. Here's the little stack of books I have. And one of the reasons why I like sharing these book hauls is, one, to me, books are just like little treasures, especially when I find them for really inexpensive and they're like a part of our curriculum or our reading list for the year or for years to come. I just love going on these little book treasure hunts. So some of these I was unable to find locally in time before, as I'm preparing for our next school year, which will start at the end of October. So I did get some from thrift books, and then others I have found locally. One of the things that I want to share with you guys is, if you are interested in a literature-based curriculum, whether that be something like Sunlight, 5 in a Row, or say you're interested in Charlotte Mason or classical education. I know even when we did classical conversations, there was a lot of books on our book list, especially in the challenge years. And then again, with us using Ambleside and Alviary, lots of books. And since we, over the years, since starting to homeschool, we've been growing our library. Every year I'm having to purchase most of the books for my oldest, because for the most part I don't really have those on hand, and with him being my oldest, I get them and then they'll trickle down to my other kids. And since my oldest did a combined year, or since he had like 2 years that were technically combined, 3 years combined into 2, he did 7, 8, 9 over the course of 8th and 9th grade. A lot of those books my daughter had for her 7th grade year, and then she has going into her 8th grade year. So for the most part, anything from the Ambleside book list for year 8, 7, I'm not having to buy at all. Or year 6, because my daughter did do year 6 for Ambleside. So for my daughter who's going into the 6th grade, she's on year 5 Ambleside, grade 6 Alviary, just because of the reading involved with Ambleside. We have her a year back, so I'm having to purchase for her. And then again for my youngest, a lot of the times I have what he's needed because I've just collected some of the younger books over the years. So anyways, all of that to say, if you are doing any of these sorts of things, I highly suggest looking at thrift books. And even now, Amazon has gotten much better with their used books. And oddly enough, some of them, if you go and you look at their used books on Amazon, they're coming from thrift books. But always check Amazon used. Thrift books, again, it's used books. And I've even had last year a lot of success with finding some of the resource books in great condition used on eBay for a better price than I could have found anywhere else. So those are really good online places. But locally, if you have a used bookstore or a half off bookstore, those are good places, especially when they have extra sales. I have found some really good history books at antique shops. At an antique store, they tend to be a little bit higher priced than some other used bookstores, but not like if you're having to pay for shipping and things like that, it still ends up being a better deal if you buy them at an antique shop. And then my favorite, and I really don't know if this is at all libraries throughout the U.S., because when we lived in Colorado, I can't remember our library there if they had used books for sale. It's not something that I remember, other than like if they intentionally had a day where they were selling books. I don't remember them having used bookstores. But here in Texas, all of the libraries have a Friends of the Library bookstore. And they're all ran a little bit differently. We have one near us that's ran out of a barn. It's really cute. It's a really cute barn bookstore. But it's all donation based. And then we have another library where, depending on the type of book, so whether it's hardback or paperback, all the prices are set. And then there's another one in another town close to us where their books can tend to be a little bit pricier, but it's usually dependent on like what the book is and the quality of the book versus like all paperbacks are $1, all hardbacks are $2, which is what one of our libraries does. And so I will say the Book Barn is where I can usually find the best deals. I just take cash with me and I get enough to like make use of the cash that I take if it's a good shopping day. So yes, but they don't have the best quality used books. Like they a lot of the ones that they have, sometimes you can find some pretty new-ish looking books, but a lot of times most of the ones that I get that are pretty beat up are from the Book Barn, but it it's worth it. So all of that to say, I have a combination of thrift books and our local different library, friends of the library bookstores. So all of the ones from the library stores, I don't think I paid more than $1 or $2 for. So if your libraries have these kinds of bookstores, definitely check them out for used books. Check them out before shopping Amazon, before shopping thrift books online, even before going to your local used bookstore. Check out the library used books first. Okay, now let's go ahead and get into this haul. Most of these my kids need for this year. Some of them they don't, but they're things that I've wanted, so I went ahead and got. And one of the ones, this has actually been on a few of my kids' book lists, and I just now finally decided to go ahead and get it so my daughter going into 6th grade can read it. And it's Johnny Tremain, A Story of Boston in Revolt. I've seen this on list for years. I don't know why I'm just now finally getting it, but we finally have this one, and she will read it. We might all read it. Who knows? We'll see, but we got that. And then I got, this is for, I think both of these are for her alviary. This book was really hard for me to come by. It's pretty expensive if Amazon has it in stock. I wasn't able to find it on eBay, or even when I searched Google, it was really hard to come by and it was kind of pricey. And then randomly one day Thrift Books said they had it in stock, so I bought it. And I kind of thought they lied to me because it took like over a week to ship out. So I'm glad I did end up getting it, but it's The Death of the Hat, A Brief History of Poetry in 50 Objects. So yeah, this was one that I wanted to get used just because new, it's a little bit pricey. And this is like, I guess, an old library copy, and it's in really great condition. But what I really like about this poetry book is that it is based off time period. So if you see here up in this corner, this is early Middle Ages, 400 to 1000. And then we'll go, and this one says Romantic period, 1785 to 1830. So I really love that this book has, and they're from all different authors. So I have one here from the Victorian period, and it's The Railway Train by Emily Dickinson. So I really like that the time period is included, and the authors and their poetry are, put into this different time period. So I really like that feature of this book. If that's something that you would be interested in as well, definitely check out The Death of the Hat, A Brief History of Poetry. So it's, it's your poetry, but you're also getting a little bit of history with it, which is perfect for adding things like if your kids do a timeline or a book of centuries, to add some of those things. Let's see, for one of my daughters for alviary, for my going into 8th grade, she needed a parcel of patterns. So I picked up this book. This was actually let me see. And then from Thrift Books I got, this is a part of my 7-year-old's science with the alviary. We got What Makes Day and Night. And another one that he is going to need for the alviary science, which I was actually really excited to come across this one. I was just flipping through some of the books at the Book Barn. So the other thing is they don't usually have a whole lot of children's books or kids books. They have tons of adult history, nonfiction, classics, young adult, sci-fi, things like that. But they're kind of slim on the children's books. So when I saw this, and I knew that even on Thrift Books it was about $6 to $7, I was really, really excited. And this is for his science. So it's Down Comes the Rain. So this will be used for his science with the alviary. And then I picked up this little reader for him. It's Greg's Microscope. This isn't a part of any curriculum, but I thought, you know, you can never have too many readers. And I was actually really excited to find this. I've wanted one of these for a while. But even whenever they pop up on like Facebook Marketplace or something like that, they actually resell for pretty close to their price sometimes. So I just hadn't gotten one since it wasn't necessarily a need, because I have readers and we have his reading curriculum. But this was also at our little book barn, and so I went ahead and got it, and I was really excited. It's in great condition, and it's the Abeka Handbook for Reading. So I'm really, really excited to have this. I've been wanting one of these for a couple years now. And then this was from Thrift Books for my oldest. This is going to be a part of his geography with Alberry. It is Chasing Venus, The Race to Measure the Heavens. This is a book that we got. And then for my daughter going into 6th grade, one of her books for Alberry Bible this year is The New Manners and Customs of Bible Times. So I picked this up from Thrift Books at a really good deal. I just hope the one that they have linked is a different edition. So I'm hopeful that this will still match up well and not be that big of an issue since it's not the newest edition that they are recommending. And then last but not least, I was able to get the, I think I grabbed this off of Thrift Books as well, and it is the Over and Under the Pond. And these books are really good. This is also used for my 7-year-old's science in Year 1 Alberry. These books are really, really good for living science reading. I also have, I think it's Up and Down in the Dirt. It's the one with gardening, which will also be used this year. But I already have that one, so I didn't have to buy it. So I did get this one. And then last but not least, I came across a really old, I don't know when this was published. So this was published in the 50s. And it is a Latin textbook. So it's Latin for Americans. And I think I found this at the book barn. So, and I think total I gave them like $5 or $10 for the books that I had gotten that day. I can't remember. But I was really excited to come across this because I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for my son for Latin next year. And I came across this textbook and I was like, this is almost completely a combination of like what he's been doing with the Henley. Like it has a lot of the grammar based stuff in it, but it also mixes in like what my daughter's doing with Cambridge, which is story based Latin. So this is all about, it has Roman history in there. And so they're reading Roman history stories, and that's how they're learning Latin. So there's Unit 1, and it starts off with the reading. And it gives them, so Unit 1, and then it goes into Lesson 1. And yeah, it's really, really cool. It tells them like how to read Latin, what to do with the sentences. It goes through the nouns and nominative cases and English word studies. It has vocabulary in there. So it's like a mix of the grammar base, like classical learning, as well as the vocabulary base that you would see with a more conversational Charlotte Mason approach. So I'm really excited. I showed this to him and he seemed excited. So I think that we're just going to have him go through this book throughout the rest of high school. And yeah, we'll call that done for his Latin. So really excited to have found this. It'd be really interesting. I might have to look to see if there is another, like, because I assume that's like a Roman numeral 1. So maybe there is another volume, but I don't know. It's really, really cool. And there's also like, it references other books in here to study your Latin or as readings. So there's music in here, and it just goes to show like how textbooks were done in the past. I actually have a few. I have a couple of world history textbooks that I bought that were from like the 50s that I've come across that are really cool as well. And they were just done so much more thoroughly and concise than we see with our textbooks today, which is really interesting. So yeah, that is everything that I have picked up recently as far as used book shopping. If you guys enjoy these kinds of videos, please go ahead and give it a like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!